watching this KTV original programming. This episode is on restorative yoga. I have my friend Megan White here to help me with restorative yoga to tell you a little bit about what restorative yoga is like. But I'd like to begin with asking Megan, what does she do for a living?
I am a high school special ed teacher in New Richland, Minnesota.
And you have a family as well. How many kids do you have?
I have 3 children.
3 children. So I can imagine that someone who is a special ed teacher and has 3 children could have some stressful moments in their daily life, right? And so Megan is here to help me share some of the benefits of restorative yoga. Now, you've done restorative yoga
I have.
before. What do you like the best about it?
I love how I feel open afterwards. It's like I've gotten a stretch, but it's been passive, so I haven't had to actively do anything. And I love how relaxed my mind is afterwards. I just feel mentally and physically relaxed.
Yes, and that's really where the power of yoga shines. That relaxation response is so important for our health. So I just want to thank Megan here before we get started for being willing to let me use her to show you some beautiful restorative yoga poses. And thank you again for watching this KTV original programming. Hello everyone. This is called supported child's pose, and it's one of the key restorative yoga poses. However, this pose isn't always comfortable for every person. So I want to show you a few tips to make it comfortable for you that will be trying it at home. The most important thing in restorative poses is to get the body in a place of complete rest. And so for this pose, we've padded underneath Megan's body so that she can rest her head and her shoulders on this nice big bolster. A place that people often feel uncomfortable in the pose is maybe not enough padding under the knees. I have one blanket here under Megan's knees, but I could also add additional padding if needed. And also behind the knee. For a lot of people, this is a lot of compression behind the knee. So I'm going to ask Megan to lift up a little bit, and I'm going to slip a blanket underneath her knee joint. It may or may not be ideal for her or for you. You can kind of try these things at home and see what works the best. Let's go ahead and have a seat back. How does that feel?
Feels better. It feels good.
It keeps a little bit of compression out of that knee joint. So all of the restorative yoga poses are important for stimulating our immune system response. You can get a deep sleep effect, a healing effect from the restorative yoga poses. But the most important thing is that each part of the body needs to be supported in the pose. So for instance, even here, we might build some tension and strain in the shoulder. So you might take a blanket. If you're working at home, all kinds of things work. Blankets and bolsters from your couch. You can come underneath the limbs and give her arm just a bit more support. Tucking it around and creating a ledge so she doesn't feel like her arm is kind of sliding off. Of course, you want to keep, just like any other yoga pose, you want to keep everything even on both sides of the body. I'm going to encourage Megan to pick up her head and turn it to the other direction. When you're resting in a pose like this, you want to take advantage of the opportunity to give your head a rest and a stretch on both directions. So again, this pose is called supported child's pose. It's a classic yoga pose and a classic restorative yoga pose. Its purpose is immune system response, to stimulate that, and also to calm the body. Important here to support the body in all the joint areas. So we're going to pad a little bit under the elbow, we're going to pad a little bit below and behind the knee, and then the level that she's laying on can be lifted higher or lower depending on the person's needs. Let's turn that head one more time, Megan. Do you feel any discomfort here at all?
I don't know. I feel very comfortable.
This is a great pose for letting go of the cares and worries of your day. This is called restorative child's pose, supported. This next pose is side lying. Again, the important thing is that all the major joints of the body are supported. And of course, the most important place to start is with the neck and shoulders. So I've given her a little bit higher head positioning here in the pose, and we're going to follow that all the way down. The first place I want to start is the knee and ankle joints. So you want to take something that's padded and slip it underneath there so that this knee joint and this ankle joint are padded and not resting on the bones. It's nice also when you're working with someone to put something behind their back. It can be a couch cushion, it can be a quilt, something firm is a little bit better, and you just kind of lean it into their back. That gives them a sense of safety, that their back is supported and that they're kind of feeling less vulnerable. And if you want, you can even emphasize more of that feeling by draping something across the side and the back of the body. I'm going to take the drop off, however, because I want to show you a few other things here from the front. For many people, this shoulder could use a little support. And so we could roll up a blanket or something like this at home, just kind of stick it underneath there and allow her to drape her arm over it. So again, this position is called side lying position. It is a restorative yoga position, and you start to set someone up in this position by supporting the major joints of the body, the neck, knees, ankles, shoulder, and support along the back for the spine. I would suggest leaving someone in this position maybe as long as 15 minutes or so. You can enhance it by adding blankets over. You can use essential oils. There's lots of beautiful things you can do to enhance this resting position. Thank you very much, Megan. So this brings us to the twists. And the twists are some of the most therapeutic and health-enhancing poses of yoga. I'm going to demonstrate with Megan just a simple seated twist. You can do it on the floor, you can do it in a chair, and then I'm going to take her down on the ground and set her up in a restorative yoga twist, which is awesome. But let's start with just a simple, easy seated twist. We're sitting cross-legged. We're going to be looking to the right. Place your left hand in front of you, your right hand behind you. Sit up nice and tall, and just gently turn towards the right. You want to keep your chin level with the floor, and you're turning just as if you maybe were pulling out of the driveway. You want to be able to look behind you. Just keep a natural range of motion here, and then take a big breath in as you bring your body slowly back to center. Now we're going to take that twist on the other side, and then I'm going to use Megan to point out a few tips. So let's lengthen up nice and tall, and then slowly twist in the opposite direction. So as Megan's twisting, it's a gentle movement, and yet it is enough to provide a twisting action through her organs of digestion and to give her kidneys and the back here just a little bit of action, a little bit of massage, cleansing, detox action. And on an inhale, nice and slow, back to the center. So twisting our torso like this is very good for our digestive organs, and it can be done in a restorative yoga fashion as well. So for this one, we'll have you come down, Megan, and I'm going to put a blanket under your head. And again, couch cushions work well for this. Doesn't have to be official yoga bolsters, but I'm going to put a little bolster alongside your body on each side. Then I'll have you bend your knees, Megan, and take your feet about hip width apart. We're going to start to let those knees drop towards the camera there. There you go. This is providing a gentle twist through the torso. But in restorative yoga fashion, we would look at this and see that this leg was not feeling supported. So I might find a blanket or any other prop around the house and just kind of slip that through there. If it's not thick enough, you can fold it. And so again, in restorative yoga, we take typical yoga poses like a twist and we put them in a state of relaxation. And here we have a support from the knee. This is also supporting movement in the hip. With the blanket between the knees, we're supporting here as well, a support under the head. And even with all this supported action, still super powerful and miraculous things are happening in the body because we have a lovely twist and wringing action through the digestive organs, organs of reproduction, and then also we have in the back body a nice movement for the kidneys. Now, anything that you do in yoga where you transition, you want to use your breath a little bit. I'm going to slip this out for Megan, and I'm going to ask her to breathe in as she brings her knees back to the center. Pull your stomach muscles in. It's nice to give your body a centered moment before going into the twist on the other side, whichever type of twist you're doing. And when you're ready, Megan, let your legs start to drop nice and relaxed to the other side of your body. So in restorative yoga, we look for things like limbs kind of hanging in space unsupported. You won't feel that for a few minutes, but if you were to be in this position for maybe 15 or 20 minutes, Megan might start to feel this not being supported even deep into her hip. So you just want to take a look at the body, find where you could give a little extra support there. You can even bring things in along the side if that feels good, and set the body up so that it can do its own healing work. Deep breathing can be added to this. I'm going to gently tap on the gong here. We add music, essential oils, and a lot of other alternative therapy healing effects to our yoga practice, particularly valuable in restorative yoga. Coming in and out of our yoga poses is part of the practice. And in restorative yoga, we want to be taking care of the body every single step of the way. So let's begin here by removing this gently and bring your legs slowly back to center. Then I'll have you extend your legs out nice and long on the mat. Our arms alongside our body in Savasana, usually about 45 degrees. Opening up with the palms, relaxing through the thighs. Take a long, slow, deep breath. After twists, whether they're just simple restorative twists like this or a really big, intense twist, after your twist, allow your body to process, particularly around the belly area, because it's been twisted. So we're just going to open, do some deep breathing, let that energy flow. And finally, we're here. The biggest, greatest, most wonderful, most fabulous yoga pose of all, the restorative Savasana. I've got a couple things to make that Savasana even more yummy today. And the first thing I want to talk about is something to do with the head. So you take a blanket, and it's folded, but you can see it's not folded evenly. So this edge is not folded even with this edge, but there's a little bit of a difference in how they end. And I'm going to take this fringy part and I'm going to slip that underneath Megan's shoulder blades, and this fold is going to come right at the edge of her neck. So I'll have Megan lift up. I'm going to slip that right under her shoulder blades, and then when she comes back down, this edge will be right at the edge of her neck. So from here, I'm going to take the edge of the blanket and I'm going to do a nice little tuck, and it's going to come around the cervical part of her neck and give her a nice little support there. So I'm just going to tuck it in right around the edges of her neck. It feels very supported for the spine. And then I'm going to follow it by bringing even more of the blanket around the head. This can give the effect of feeling like your head is nice and snug in a little egg carton or a bird's nest, but something cozy, safe, and supportive. Tucking it tightly around like that packs that head in and gives Megan a sense of ease. Then I can travel further on down the body to set up the rest of the pose. The next piece I'm going to do is bring Megan's legs up, and I'm going to put a giant bolster under this time. This is a pretty big bolster, but it has the effect of getting the legs up a little bit higher, and that gives us a deeper relaxation effect. However, when you put your legs up on something big like this, see how her heels are kind of hanging? That's not really good for the knee joint over a period of time. So I'm going to slip something underneath those heels. It could be a yoga block. If you have yoga blocks at home, you can stick a yoga block under there. But if you don't have a yoga block, even a blanket, or again, couch cushions are handy for a lot of this. You want to just slip that underneath there make sure that every part, again, of the body is resting. Another thing that you'll notice here is her arms are out to the side. And there's a little drop down here for her where her arm falls off the mat. So we would take something like this, slip it underneath to provide a bit more support for that arm. And then because so many people do so much keyboard work, there's a lot of issue with wrists and carpal tunnels. We can take our blanket, just tuck it around there like that, give it a kind of a soothing press down. This can feel very good after a long day of keyboard work. As with all other yoga poses, everything has to be even. So if I'm going to tuck this arm in nice and steady, I've got to move over there, tuck that arm in also. So the way that works once again is to support the arm so that it's even with the rest of the body. That's step one. And once you've got that arm fully supported with the rest of the body, then you can fold the blanket up over it and give it a nice nurturing press down. Again, it's summertime. A lot of people might not need a lot of blankets for the restorative, but you might try even a short blanket. So maybe something that's not a full-size blanket, that you fold it in half and lie it just across the midline of the body. It provides a sense of safety. It makes the person feel less vulnerable. Of course, you can bring the whole body under a blanket, tucking in the feet, tucking in the shoulders. The last but one of the best pieces for our Savasana is here, the eye pillows. These eye pillows work for two things, well, many things really. They block out the light. This one has lavender essential oils, but also they apply a little pressure to the vagus nerve, and this also helps us drop our body into a deeper relaxation. A good way to put your eye pillow on is to fold it in half, set it just on the bridge of the nose, and then let it gently drape over each eye. So this is Savasana, or the corpse pose, but taken up a notch in relaxation by lifting the legs, supporting the feet, supporting the head, supporting the shoulder, elbow, and wrist joints, and then tucking in a little bit by cozying up some of the limbs, tucking in the head. This pose, someone could be in this pose for maybe 15, 20 minutes. An iPod with some earplugs, maybe your favorite music. These poses have very, very powerful health benefits. They're among the most powerful of all the yoga poses. Thank you.